Welcome, everybody, again to some more Katawa Shoujo. This is the second time this week because I've been doing 6-7 day uploads. I think I've uploaded about 8 days in a row now, which is pretty impressive. Maybe even 9. So I thought, why not just keep going? Just cuz. And why not with Katawa Shoujo? I know I've got like Corpse Party and Steins Gate going off right now, but I really just want to get through Katawa Shoujo because I think we're at the end of Rin's story now. It seems like we're heading towards some sort of conclusion here. So here we go on a nice rainy day. The first day of summer vacation is a disappointment. It rains in summer. That's insane. That doesn't happen here. I woke up. Water came down from the leaden sky in the biblical proportions. I was optimistic at the time. Quick summer shower, I thought, torrents of rain for a few minutes, then it's gone. No such luck. Rainwater is relentlessly pouring down from the blue-gray sky outside, streaming down the glass from my window in small brooks and rivers, and gathering together to form miniature ponds in the walkways. That was a lot of words there. Just like it has done for the past 2.5 hours. So I've been half-assedly cleaning up in between, half-assedly reading a book, packing my stuff on the side when I get bored for the first two. The weather drags my spirits pretty down, too, making it harder to do anything properly. Something bumping quite loudly against my door rouses me from my apathy. Hope it's not Kenji and his crazy indoor bowling alley. That'd be crazy. Just go do that, bro. That sounds hype. I hear no more sounds from the corridor until I walk to the door and open it. Rin. I wish seeing her would evoke some sort of emotion in me, but for one, I'm too surprised that she came to see me, and for two, she is soaking wet. Her uniform shirt is drenched, and she's... Wouldn't you be able to see through it? Those are like shitty white, whatever. Her uniform is drenched, and she is standing in a self-created puddle. Droplets of rainwater are dripping... Did she just knock on it with her head? She could have kicked the door, but that was just like one bang. Whatever. Droplets of rainwater dripping from her short bangs and sliding down her nose until they fall from the tip. One by one. Hi. How are you feeling? Medium normal. The relative questionability of her statement aside, she sure doesn't look too good. You're all wet. It's because I came from outside. Do you know it? Why'd you be outside? It's raining buckets out there. If you haven't noticed. I haven't. It's raining pretty hard, though. I was on a walk. Is that what you call wallowing in self-pity? Do you think I'm pitiful? No, I implied that you think you are. I'm not. And rain is not a sad thing. Don't you ever walk in the rain? I love walking in the rain, actually. It's so fun. It feels so good. I do, but only with the proper equipment, like an umbrella. Okay. You just need to imagine you have a blue umbrella with white stripes. It might be tough when rain is falling on my head. Just imagine harder. Yep, she's definitely back to normal. Those half-sarcastic, inconsiderate remarks that really push my buttons, even though she doesn't mean it. That vacant, spaced-out stare that always expects more than it gives. It's so very much like her. I may need to come in. I need some help with this water and clothes I'm wearing. My brain quickly solves this equation. I stumble with my words, a stark display of contrast against Rin's easygoing self-invitation. But Emmy... What did Emmy have to do with anything? Was the last episode... Sorry, let me take a step. Introduce. Hi, welcome to Katawa Shoujo. My name is Nux. We do this around here sometimes. Last week, I don't remember what was the last thing that happened. I remember the last time we saw Emmy was we got back from the exhibition and she was like, I'm gonna punish her, and we were like, don't do that, and she was like, come on, Asao, and we were like, yeah. But like, other than that, I don't remember. That wasn't the last thing we did, surely, because that was when we looked for her in the classroom, and then we saw Nomiya and he got angry, because that was the next day. What happened the next day? We hugged Rin when she was crying. That was also in the classroom, and then we got back. So why is he saying but Emmy? That's so weird. Rin shakes her head vehemently, causing water to sprinkle everywhere. She left. Besides, she would just worry and fuss until she could not worry or fuss anymore, which always takes a tremendously, troublesomely long time. It's, in fact, longer than I want to hear her fussing, and I thought you probably are not the fussing kind. She slumps down on my desk with a squishy sound. Her soaked clothes are making the desk and everything on it wet, but she doesn't care. Alright, fine. I'll help you out. I have a towel somewhere. Do you want dry clothes? Is the uniform fine? I'm taller than you, but everything's fine. With a little searching, I find a fresh uniform and a fluffy towel from the depths of my closet. The towel in one hand and the uniform in the other, I turn to face Rin again, uncertain of the next step. There's something wrong with me. A normal guy would just stop worrying. It's not a problem. That cut it off. That wasn't me. She probably could see right through my hesitant demeanor. Yeah, bro, you've seen her naked twice, I think. It's chill. As if I was completely transparent to her. I push my anxiety away and concentrate on the 8 buttons lined on her shirt, just like mine has. Oh, okay. I think I know what's about to happen. Just in case it does. For the record, in case you're new here, we censor things. I know it's art. YouTube is weird. We censor the porn. So sorry. Only the first button is an obstacle after getting it. Just in case. I don't know what's happening here. It's a little weird between Asao and him. Her. Fuck. Only the first button is an obstacle, and after getting over it, I undo the others with slightly less shaking hands. Yeah, okay. This is fine. I think. Throwing the soaked shirt aside, I reveal Rin's pale upper body, shrouded only in her light blue brassiere, which instantly reminds me of her saying it's her favorite color. Does she say that? I don't remember that. I try not to think too much about stuff, but it's hard not to look at her body with what I can only think of as mixed feelings. I like her face in this shot. It's colored so well. I don't know what to think of this, so I just watch her. Rin looks brittle. Oh, this is her first time actually looking at her arms, too. I didn't imagine her arms were this long. Whenever they talk about her arms, they make it seem like it's halfway. We also never talked about how that happened. I don't know if we're ever going to get to it, but I'd be interested to know. She's like a shell, a fragile thing just barely holding together. Her ribs, each of them visible under her pale skin, are moving up and down in the rhythm of her breaths. Rin always struck me as quite thin, but I realize now that the manic creative period before the exhibition opening might have caused her to lose weight. Yeah, she probably only ate twice, bro. Is she properly and enough? Definitely not, and probably not. This ugly yet beautiful bare minimum of a human body. What a line. This ugly, fucking, but beautiful bare minimum of a human body belongs to someone that I care about, is a contradiction of aesthetics in itself, oddly becoming of her. My eyes follow her collarbone to her shoulder and down her arm until the abrupt end. No, it's less than the bare minimum. I think that a passing pang of sadness and some guilt for thinking that. Okay, come on. Her arms degenerated into almost nothing. That's fucked up. But bone and skin due to lack of use. Look very short now that the long sleeves of her uniform are not covering them. I always thought they were shorter. My lack of any negative reaction makes me think that I've actually grown pretty accustomed to the various physical abnormities of my schoolmates. I was wondering why Rin keeps her shirt sleeves long, only tying them in a simple knot. I was going to say trying, but that didn't make sense. In a simple knot at where the elbow would be. It seems a bit impractical, but then again, she's not exactly the pinnacle of practicality. Maybe she likes it. Maybe it is somehow important to her. Maybe there is no deeper meaning to it. I feel like asking. I almost do. But Rin's miserable state requires a higher priority of my attention. She stopped talking, too, after we ran out of spiky greetings. She's blushing. I guess there is no need for chit-chat, then. Aw. I pick up a towel from the bed and wrap it around her head, rumbling it all over her hair, until most of the rainwater is hopefully soaked into the fabric. She peeks from below the towel at me, looking up with impassive eyes. Looks like she wants to say something without saying it. It's that kind of look. But I can't read what she's thinking about from her face, so I just keep fussing with the towel around her shoulders and hair. The silence is oppressive, terrifying. Communication between us has suddenly been reduced to the movements of my hands and towel, and Rin swaying her body to and fro. My jagged breathing and her quiet breaths trying to find a common rhythm that just is not there. I think I can hear her heartbeats. Maybe they're just mine redoubled. As I brush a rogue strand of hair aside from her ear, Rin suddenly presses her cheek against the back of my hand. Oh, Contact is electric. A jolt of current surging through me, like an actual electric shock because you guys are wet. Whether she seeks comfort, warmth, or just my touch, I wouldn't know, but I can't help touching her back, caressing her soft cheek with my hand. And with closed eyes, she kisses me on the fingers, counting the joints in her lips. Joints in her lips? Oh, she's like counting the joints in my fingers? What the fuck? I'm saddened beyond my expressive capability. Here we are, a boy and a girl, both in love or something like that with each other. Or maybe not, and yet something is broken. I can feel it in me and in Rin, in the way our gazes merely brush against each other, shying away from the contact in her closed, timid posture, and in my way of touching her like a china doll, afraid of shattering her delicate form. In how we are closer than we have ever been, yet I'm not feeling happy. It's like yesterday. When did the tenderness and forlornness become one and the same word? Acts of affection starting to invoke only longing. How? Why did we end up like this? No, don't answer that, I like to say to myself, but fighting against my omniscience of self-awareness is a lost cause. Still, I am here, and Rin is here, and it feels like she might be able to solve whatever problem she has. And if she can, why couldn't I? Why couldn't we? Feels like taking that step is too much, too difficult, too uncertain. So for now, all I can do is dry her up so she won't get a cold again. I pet her head, trying to sort some of the hair that she refuses to be sorted out even when wet. A pair of dark, glazed eyes follows my every movement. Pants too? She nods as an answer, leans back and spreads her legs with a grotesquely inviting gesture that makes a nasty feeling crawl up and down my spine like a bad premonition. It's not enough to sober me, though, as the silence is starting to make me feel detached from myself. I move automatically without even thinking, though I should. I should talk to her about this, or at least about something. The silence is a spell, a pact that has bound us to this private world made of the dull sound of rainfall and the soft feel of her skin against my fingers. The button of her trousers is fastened tight, but it opens surprisingly easily. Slipping them off is hard, mostly because she's sitting on them, with no intention of standing up to ease my task. Okay. Alright, we might have to... look, I know it's basically the same as it was before, but there is a line where it looks a little too suggestive. Her face is really cute in this picture, though. I gotta say. Anyway, I kneel down uncomfortably, titillingly, between her legs so I can quickly dry her bare feet, remembering that they are as important to her as hands are to me. As I work the towel up from her ankles, Rin brushes her thigh against my cheek and nudges the small of my back with her heel to make me come closer. I look up to meet her silent stare that was waiting for me to look up. That unassuming, expectant stare seems to say that the ball is in my court. I fleetingly brush my hand against her inner thigh. The touch makes her gasp sharply as if she was trying to hold back breathing. What if I do this? Then the small kiss I place on her thigh is enough. Face change. The small kiss I place on her thigh is enough to make Rin lose her composure, to shut her eyes, to squeal almost inaudibly. Is that what you want to do? Would it be alright right now to take this step? See, this is the sort of thing you need to say out loud, Hazal. What if, maybe if hazy thoughts float somewhere in the back of my unfocused mind. Somehow the whole situation is making it hard to think, as if my head was full of cotton fluff. Okay, but that's alright. It seems thinking is not something we need to do right now. Okay. Her underwear just fucking vanished, bro. But the grace of vastly smaller amount of fabric slipping off Rin's panties is considerably easier than her trousers. Somehow, what the fuck? That seems like it'd be way harder. They disappear past my field of vision, sliding somewhere down her legs. It seems I did a poor job with the towel since Rin's legs are still wet from the rain. Well, whatever. Don't say whatever. Just clean her off, bro. Oh, okay. Katawa has entered the frame. Guided by instinct more than rationality, I move closer and taste the different kind of wetness. The different kind. She responds to me, the slow movements of my tongue on her skin to my kisses on her flesh. Her muscles tense and relax in the rhythm, as if what I'm doing was uncomfortable. To hear Rin trying not to make a sound when I suck on her is unreal. This whole morning has been so unreal, like the surreal intangibility of a wakening dream. I can't believe I'm doing this to her now, but I am going with the flow. Besides, the point of no return was 1,000 miles ago. I try to move around, try to do things to her, to find places where her weaknesses lie, to tease her, to drive her mad with pleasure because I want to. I want to do this to her. But she doesn't squeal, she doesn't squirm, for maybe I can't make Rin any madder than she already is, whatever I do. Her ragged, heavy breathing mixed with the unintelligible moans is that of a lunatic, but I do not cause it. I only release that from her. That's a weird way to phrase that. She becomes more and more moist, and I drink from her, feeling a heat growing inside myself. I just imagine drinking fucking just... I try to reach her deepest places, to feel all of her. Sorry, I'm really immature about this. My every reaction is met with a different kind of reaction, or a different reaction, but all of those are out of pure lust. Rin is lost in desire, willing to let anything happen to her, if I do it right now. She becomes closer and closer to the moment of release, but the way to that is an uphill slope of madness. She's still going that way. What? Still, she is going that way. The muscles don't relax anymore between the waves of ecstatic spasms. Rin just becomes tenser and tenser, contracting so much that it must be physically painful. But I do not let go. I keep going, and I know she wants it too. She desperately wants me to do this to her. That's a weird way to say that. A leg curls around my shoulders and draws me closer, so close that I think I'm gonna choke. I keep going because this is the only possibility. As I push the button that drives her, gasping for breath, locking her leg in a cramp against my back, losing her mind in the sensation, at the precise moment I seem to forget all that was meant to be, all that should be. All I know is that she came here, and I think there was a towel at some point, too. None of it matters. All of that matters. All that matters is this, what we have now. Her orgasm surges through me, too, exciting me in a completely new way. It makes me feel anxious, nervous, bothered. As her body relaxes, I try to kiss down there again, but it startles her, causing her to jump. No, Hisao. Enough. Come here. I stand up to remove the last piece of clothing Rin has. She leans against me to catch her breath, tickling me with a warm air exalted in my shirt. This is so much different than, like, Hanako's. Hanako's was so, like, tame, and, like, it just happened really quick. We got 2 phases here with Rin. We're insane. Sorry, I'm just taking this moment to sort of rest between the weird fucking... It's not weird. I don't know why I call it weird. Just between the fucking... She leans against me to catch her breath, tickling me with her warm air exalted into my shirt. Blindly, I reach behind her back to feel my way below her shoulder blades to find the contraption that fastens her bra. It opens more easily than I thought, falling to the floor somewhere. It's cute. Hisao's face normally looks really weird, and I think that's only because on both sides it's, like, uneven or something. But like this, he actually looks really attractive. Her bare skin against me is a sensation so wonderful that I want to have more of it. And I do, embracing her. Rin's hair smells of rain, and I realize that I'm not hearing the sound of rainfall anymore. How does she put shampoo in her hair? Does she? Maybe she has somebody help. Maybe Emmy just, like, helps her out, right? Because that's one thing you really can't do with your feet. Like, maybe she can because she's more flexible, but, like, you have to, like, squirt the shampoo onto one foot and then get the foot, like, all around. And even then, like, does that work when you have long hair like that? I don't even know. It's a sobering thing. The cushion that enveloped us into a reality of our own is now gone, and I realize more clearly what is happening. You know, this really is not what friends should be doing. I whisper once again, noticing how simple a matter as talking can be overbearingly difficult at times. Will you stop being my friend? That wasn't what I meant. Dumb bitch. But her serious tone and the layers of connotations behind Rin's questions give me a pause. Nah. I think it might be alright, even if you did. I hug her and smile into her hair, understanding Rin perfectly for once. You're wet. The remnants of water on her skin have drained into my shirt. Somehow, even her statements of the obvious made me glad right now. You're right, I am, but that's your fault. I want to see you. Okay. Damn, man's is muscly. I guess he must be really thin. Just this part. Can you see my mouse? Yeah. This part just looks weirdly muscly. I comply, standing back. Sorry, that's also just really easy how his clothes disappear. I comply, standing back to open the buttons of my shirt, much more quickly than I did when I undid Rin's buttons. A sudden sense of haste strikes me, spurring me to rush forward. Every second I'm not touching Rin is a second wasted, a chance lost. My belt buckle proves an obstacle despite my ability to open it in an eye blink under normal circumstances. When I fumble with it, I notice Rin bringing her foot up between us until she starts tracing my chest with her toe. What the hell? It's a scar. I look down to see what she's looking at. My heart. I reflexively flinch back, covering the scar tissue in the middle of my chest. The shallow mark of the surgery following my heart attack left on my body has healed already, but, well, it's not particularly pretty sight, if not overly repulsive either. It's barely noticeable, but she does have an eye for detail. Is that why she said she wanted to see me? I'd sort of forgotten about it, all this, because of the mess with Rin, but now all the unpleasant things are connected to my condition surface at once, rushing through my mind like a flash flood. And oh god, all the stories about old guys getting heart attacks when having sex. What if? So, realizing that I might have just spoiled the mood, I stumbled to explain myself. Sorry, it's just that. Let me touch you. Her eyes are sultry, inviting as she sits there, bare naked, without an inkling of shame. I never thought Rin could look like that. Are we about to get a foot job? That'd be sick, honestly. You don't see that in things like this. There would be no better person to give a foot job in all of visual novel history, I would say. So, if we see it, props to the devs, the writers, or whatever. Yeah, I know this is not how it should go. Even though Rin is right here, even though there should be no more questions, no more obstacles, not this maddening feeling that something is constantly wrong. The same feeling that clutched my heart yesterday makes its appearance. We are together in a way that is difficult to define. It eludes a description as stubbornly as it evades change. Would a relationship like this be alright? Could we ever change to become closer? Of course, why not? Even though we would stay together for all eternity, we might not ever find our mutual understanding. But there is no such thing as eternity. This may mean that we will not be together forever. If not our differences, then the flow of time will pull us apart with irresistible force. Rin is a creature of the moment, of whim and impulse, and I am nothing of the sort. This is a fact that I can understand very clearly. If for no other reason, for this reason I should grasp this moment, even if it's the only moment we will ever have, I should not let myself spoil it. Even if I can't escape myself, Rin can't either. I know it now. We both have things we can't let go, things we can't not think. Feelings we can't not feel, but she allows herself to want me without any restraint, here and now. I'm sorry, you know. So, you really have to stop worrying. Rin interrupts me before I get further, which is good because I don't know what I could have said. Her voice, void of its usual spaciness, scolds me softly, without an edge. You really have to learn to let go. She scans me calmly, almost calculatingly. I wonder what I look like through her eyes. Damn, they're so green it almost hurts. I was so enchanted by her eyes, those mysterious, captivating eyes, that always were too restless for their own good. But I was also always intimidated by them. Yeah, Rin is intimidating, on more than one level, and especially right now. She is frighteningly lucid, the goosebumps on her skin giving away that she is cold or scared, too. Either way, I steel myself and step back to Rin, embracing her to feel her in my arms, again to banish all my doubts. The sight of her gentle, loving eyes seemed to melt those doubts away like the last snow of winter. Oh, okay, we have to censor that, but she presses her head against my shoulder, seeking a place to rest herself in, leaning against me like I lean against her. Let go. Yeah. You should Forget about the stuff like future and past. It's not like you can change those kinds of things. Well, you can change the future a little bit. I want to say something to her, but I lost my voice and I just mumble something unintelligible at her. Unintelligible. You should be with me. No. Maybe she understood what I wanted to say even if I didn't. Come here. I am here. Come closer. My entire body is thinking only positives now, so I do, hugging her more tightly. Closer. I press my lower body against hers. She tenses a little. Just a little. Closer. Her final plead is more like a prayer. It's weird. There's only one way to be closer than this. I reach down between us and guide myself, sinking myself into her. Every muscle in Rin's body stiffens at the same time. She doesn't say anything or wince, so I push deeper, eventually moving out. And again, she moves with me. Our movements melt together like one continuous string back and forth, in and out. All sensations become sharper, amplified tenfold. My brain gave up interpreting all this stimulation, ages ago. What is it? And now I'm left with no choice but to feel all of this with my entire body. It's like that for Rin too. I know it. I can see it. I can feel it. She breathes sharply in and out, losing all composure and grace, breathes warmly against my shoulder. Between those fragile breaths, she sometimes kisses me tenderly, gently, as if she was unsure how to do it properly. But there is no hesitation. Desperately clinging to me, drawing me closer so that I could feel all of her, she moves against me, around me, so that it's hard to say where I stop and she begins. We take it slowly, excruciatingly slowly, as if we had all the time in the world, even though we only have this moment and nothing beyond that. Why nothing beyond, bro? What? You can just... The feeling is... Wait. I stopped moving, slightly alarmed. Yeah, he didn't bring out the condom this time, by the way. He had a condom ready for Hanako. Nothing here. Maybe it hurts, or... She looks at me in a way that I can't really begin to interpret. Is this it? My man. No! Is this it? Damn. Poor Sal. Poor guy. Huh? You said I don't have to be alone. Her eyes are full of innocent... Oh, sorry, I just want to talk about this art again. It looks so good. Her eyes are full of an innocent, fuzzy-headed confusion that makes me chuckle a little and pet the back of her head. Yeah, this is what I meant. That you have someone you can come to when your kid's soaked in a rain. It means you're not alone. There is such a person for you. She answers with a kiss, reminding me that we've stopped moving for no real reason. To have a conversation is how. That's why. So we start from the top, almost at the same time, each mirroring the rhythm of the other. I move faster, faster, in and out of her, my sweat mixing with hers, glistening on our shared skin like diamonds and pearls. She moves faster, grinding herself against the thrones of our desire. The intoxicating scent of her lust, the mind-blanking feeling that connects our bodies, the sense of all rational thought draining from my mind. All those burn my consciousness, just like the impelling feeling in my body burns my instincts. As those feelings grow, Rin makes no signs of stopping. She curls her feet behind my lower back, forcing me to drive myself inside of her as deep and as physically possible, each millimeter sending waves through my spine. My mind blacks out as the world erupts in a flash of brightness. What? My mind blacks out as the world erupts into a flash of bright white blindness. That's very bright.